Hi, my name is Norm O'Reilly. I'm a professor and the director of the International Institute for Sport Business and Leadership at the Lang School of Business at the University of Guelph, just near Toronto, Ontario. I'm one of 5 authors on our eSports book, led by Dr. David Finch. He's a marketing professor at Mount Royal University. I'm the second author. Gasha Abiza, Dr. Gasha Abiza, is a professor of sport management at Towson University in Baltimore, USA. Professor Brad Clark is a communications professor, also at Mount Royal University in Calgary. And our final author is Dr. David Legg, who's a professor and former department head in physical education at Mount Royal University as well. We're 5 professors, all from different areas of sport: business, marketing, communications, and sport participation, physical activity. And esports has had a significant impact and is going to have a greater impact on the industry of sports, both positive and negative. And we were very interested to really try to understand the industry, its business models, the key stakeholders, what important decisions need to be made, where the revenue might potentially lie, why someone might invest in it, and what kind of impact it's going to have on traditional sport. So on one level, there's significant opportunities for growth, to go digital, to add new elements, to do a video game or a component for your sport or your league, to get some of your athletes involved as avatars, etc. But on the other hand, there's this kind of the young people and really anyone that's doing a lot of esports are moving away from doing traditional sports, and it's kind of counter to getting people out there and being active and healthy. And so there's those kind of debates going on, and we touch on a lot of those things through the book with a very kind of balanced lens. The idea is to really lay out the industry, its issues, and its challenge. The book is largely intended for 2 groups. One would be students, and typically advanced students of sport management, so higher level undergrads or graduates or doctoral students who really want to understand and study this. And there's now a lot of universities and private sector organizations that are hiring people that have deep understanding at a high level, a graduate degree level of this industry, to both grow businesses, to understand it, to teach other students, to people that want to work in it, to train future professionals, etc. And the second market are people working in the field. Much like any new field, and we could say the same thing about sponsorship or social media. A lot of people grew up and went to school and training that didn't include these things. So people are out there working on it in positions of importance with clubs or teams or agencies or manufacturers or rights holders, whoever the case may be, and really have limited knowledge. So it's the idea is to, okay, here's a really balanced, unbiased book to really give you the underlying understanding of the industry to make really good decisions. So helping both of those groups and trying to appeal to both those groups was really the dual target, if you will, of the book. The mission of the book was to really deeply understand the industry of esports, where it's going, who the key players are, what's likely to happen, what are the risks, what are the benefits, where should you invest, where should we be worried as governments or associations or federations that are responsible for sport and or health applications in our various societies and jurisdictions around the world. It takes a very global perspective to esports and what's happening. We're really the first group that did a very business decision, stakeholder focused, textbooky style approach to looking at esports as opposed to a growth story or something about a very specific game or game manufacturer or celebrity esports player, etc., which have a lot of interest out there. That's really the innovation. It's something for people in those 2 groups, students and professionals, to help them really understand the industry that they're working in, investing in, etc. So we talk about sponsorship, we talk about athletes, talk about governments, associations. We also talk about social media. And social media, as everyone knows, has become a dominant form of communication for all ages now, all over the world, and pretty much every language that's spoken on the globe. And so it's become very, very important. esports is very easy to integrate into social platforms. We spend a lot of time talking about the platform known as Twitch, which anyone knows esports would know a lot about. And these social media platforms, from a lot of perspectives and our research, far exceed what other traditional ones like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., offer. They're very advanced and they're highly integrated into the gaming world, and they provide enormous revenue generation for the athlete stars. They provide really robust crowdsourced funding for events around esports that the athletes compete in, professional events. It's very, very evolved. So there's one thing that's very important with that piece, is that for other entities, properties, not just traditional sport, but you can think about music and festivals and tourist organizations and anyone that can make a web presence, is we can learn a lot from what esports is doing in the digital social media space. Very effective at it, and they're very, very good at monetizing it. Where in a lot of these industries, social media is still an expense and a kind of an investment around communications and promotions. Esports followers tend to be young, male, mostly, single, often, market that's very, very hard to reach, and you get them in these environments where they're spending 20, 30, 40, sometimes more hours per week gaming and in the esports environment, and you get them in this really captive audience situation, and we're trying to figure that out still, and the book takes some real approach to learning that and some suggestions of how to do that. That's very, very attractive, but there is the downside, and then it is keeping this particular group of the population, a very important group of the population, out of physical activity, out of social situations, and out of, in some cases, work situations. We have some content in the book around certain demographics in certain areas who have really just withdrawn from society, and their entire life is in front of their screen, a digital life. And maybe that's good, maybe it's not, but we comment on some of those things as well.
Suitable for use in your course syllabus and as an integral resource for research advancements within your department, this publication should be included within your institution's library along with these related publications. Offered in print, ebook, print plus ebook, and as a part of IGI Global's Emphasize Books, this publication is available for purchase directly through IGI Global's online bookstore, as well as many other major booksellers and platforms, such as EBSCOhost, Gobi, ProQuest, and Oasis. Recommend to your librarian today.